We are proud to announce the first annual You Guys Shred Fest, featuring performances by Sunfish, Queen Adilla, Downriver, and Poet Bones. Tickets are available at angelustheater.com.
Yeah!
Thanks, bro.
You guys are so good! Keep playing!
We haven't started playing.
Sweet Home Alabama, playing!
Just got here, man.
You guys shred! 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 You guys shred!
Welcome to You Guys Shred. When you play your first show in 1,000-degree weather wearing turtlenecks, you buy a bass from your future bass player, and when you find out your band name is somebody's last name. I am your host, Keaton Stewart.
I'm your co-host, Tyler Christensen.
If you guys like what we're doing and want to support the podcast, it really helps us out if you subscribe, share, and review. You can find our musical project, Poet Bones, on all your preferred streaming platforms, and you can find our merch at poetbones.com. Today's guests are very talented human beings. They have a new record out called Introducing the Mellons, and I would rate it as one of my top albums of the year. All the way from the land of milk and honey, please enjoy the Mellons. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Huge fans of you guys. I guess we just start out from where I first found you guys, which was actually the Boys Ranch.
Oh,
I saw you guys play at Craft Lake City.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I rediscovered the Mellons music, and I was looking back. I was like, "Oh crap! There's the dudes from Boys Ranch."
Yeah, it was
Because-
2019, right before the pandemic.
When it was still cool, yeah, like when it was at the
Is it the fairgrounds?
Gallivan
Oh,
Center.
it's still
the
at Gallivan? I loved it at Gallivan.
Yeah,
Not
that's
to,
what I
like, dwell
preferred it
on
as well. Yeah,
Craft Lake. but
yeah.
yeah.
fun.
You guys had a skateboard, didn't you?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I was like, I remember seeing that in your merch table. I was like, what?
I only made like 4 of them, but they all sold.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'm into
That's
that.
cool. I'm glad you got to know the Boys Ranch.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about the you guys' first record. I mean, sonically, musically, lyrically, aesthetically, just the vibe, everything about it. Your guys' videos, artwork across the board is just like perfect. I think you guys have. I mean, it's such a good album.
Wow, thank you.
Of course. And you guys are pretty DIY with, like, you direct the videos and do the artwork and stuff too, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I think the only thing we don't do is master. I mean, some of our tracks were mixed by other people, but Denny also mixed some tracks. So, yeah. Is that right? Mastering's the only thing we
I
didn't
mixed
really
about
do.
9 tracks, and then we
Oh,
had some
okay,
help
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, we do most everything ourselves.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. I guess kind of starting from the inception of the Mellons, since you guys all do your own different bands and different music projects and things, how did the Mellons start? How did it come about? Did you guys already have kind of the aesthetic and idea of what you wanted to do sonically and aesthetically like beforehand, or did that just kind of come as you guys started jamming?
Hit it,
I
Rob.
like that. It's a cool question. It's a cool question.
Come on, Rob.
Stories. Okay.
Once upon a time.
1987. Several of us were born. I guess that's the real start. So we sometimes describe ourselves as a duo of duos because Andrew and I have been in bands together and working together creatively for many years, since freshman year of high school. And Denny and Ian, of course, have been in tons of bands in the Salt Lake area, working together in lots of projects and capacities, really solid relationship. And then we all came together. And that was the beginning of the Mellons.
And now it's worse than ever.
We should have
In some
seen apart.
aspects.
Should have seen it coming.
Yeah. So Andrew and I were in another band before this one called Day Sounds that did not succeed. And
I would argue that it was successful when it was going.
it did not persist.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to
It came
compliment.
to a natural,
'cause I loved it.
beautiful end.
It went the way of all the earth.
It fulfilled the measure of its creation
There you go.
and returned to its father.
They made good music. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, they did make very good music. And we knew we wanted to work together again. And we started meeting and talking. And a big part of the conversation was like, is there any way we could get Denny and Ian in on this band?
Right.
So that was like a huge part of the
Were you guys stalking us?
inception.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
We were already friends.
I don't know. I'm not sure I can answer that.
Why can't a heterosexual guy tell a heterosexual guy that he thinks that his booty is black?
I was gonna say you guys are kind of like a super group. So when was like the first like let's get together, let's jam, or like Like, how did it come about? Someone slid into each other's DMs or something? Or you guys? I like to. I mean, you can correct me if this is wrong, but I like to picture it like you guys were all at a party, and either Pet Sounds or Sergeant Pepper was on the turntable, and you guys are all kind of just gravitate towards it, and then you're like, you know about this and that, right? He brought in the goats and stuff. Like,
The goats.
yeah.
Like everyone at the
Right.
party was hanging out, and all of us
Yeah,
were
everyone,
just
no one
sitting
else,
around the
they're there.
turntable.
You're like, yeah, you're on the turntable. Yeah.
That's a way better story. Let's tell it like
Let's
that.
roll with that.
It's canon
version.
now.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's canon. Yeah, we've canonized that story.
Or Revolver, whatever you guys want,
Hey, Revolver's great. I don't know, Andrew. You could talk about our early collaborations, even pre-Day Sounds, Touch It, and then like us starting to collaborate pre whatever Mellons was.
Sure, I'm not sure if I'll tell the details you want, so
You got it,
make
baby.
sure to chime in. But I mean, I think essentially during the pandemic it was that Rob and I were like really thinking about putting it together and doing another group together. So we started to just record some tracks, even though we weren't sure like
Yeah.
what it would be or who would be in it or whatever. So
Or even just like an idea of like what sonically you guys like, let's just go in. I have some ideas from some songs and let's just do it.
yeah, it was pretty loose. I mean, I think we knew a bit stylistically what we wanted, but definitely not as dialed in as it is now. But like our previous band, I would say, was a little more like contemporary, and I really wanted to like sniff out what it would be like if
Turn
it
the
was.
dial back.
Yeah, I wanted to know what it would be like if it felt a little more retro in fashion. Anyway, so that's one thing. But yeah, so we had a couple songs, and then I had already worked with Denny a couple times. I think Rob met Denny through the Facebook.
Ooh, this is a good story.
Yeah, you tell it.
This is
Do you
a
want to hear a
decent
story?
origin story.
This is like the true version of the story that you just made up.
Okay,
Which
cool.
was, as it turns out, partially true.
Yes.
So
I was hoping it would be somewhat true.
yeah.
years and years
Similar
ago,
sentiment.
I was ready to tackle the bass. I have this theory that all musicians really just want to be bassists.
It's true.
And it was my
I'll
turn.
concur.
Right? It was my turn, and I wanted a bass that was more unique than just like a Fender Mustang or whatever.
Yeah, the typical like
P-bass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's-
P-bass or
Yeah,
something.
P-bass,
Yeah.
Exactly.
J-bass.
Pooh bass.
So I got searching online. Gross.
Oh, potty humor
Sorry.
already.
Oh.
5 minutes in.
I love it.
You knew it was coming.
I got in this thing called Facebook Marketplace. Don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's new. It's where you buy things online. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's neat. And I was searching for basses, and I saw what looked to me like Paul McCartney's violin bass. And I was like, this is perfect. I messaged the guy. I was like, I'm really interested. Can I come check it out? He was super friendly. I showed up at the apartment to buy it, and it was Denny. And like in the first 30 seconds of meeting Denny, I was like, I want to be this guy's friend. Like, this guy's cool. He knows music. We started talking about the Beatles. He showed me his record collection, sold me the bass. And I just had this feeling like this is like, there's going to be more of this relationship in my future. But then it took like a couple of years to come back to it.
Oh, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
this
That was
was
like
like
2017 even.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This was
Maybe,
way
yeah.
before the Mellons.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Why'd you get
Now
rid of
we're
the
married.
bass?
I wanted to get a better version of the Hofner bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
It's like, why
sold
would you
him.
get rid of it?
So I sold him like the Hofner has like their entry level Hofner bass. Sold it to him so I could get the next level up, which is the black and white bass that you see me play with the Mellons now.
Okay. Yeah, I was
And-
gonna say because on like the magazines and stuff, when you want to get one of those, they don't even have like the price. It's like call for price. So
No, yeah, I had to. I actually really don't like getting rid of instruments. I'm super sentimental about instruments that have like helped me create things and just.
yeah, I'm the
like,
same way.
I like
man.
stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But I got rid of it to someone.
Who actually
Oh, cool.
deserved it?
Yeah.
But he
And-
didn't end up being a bass player.
It was for a while.
Oh, okay.
We
I mean,
still,
Rob still writes a lot.
He
lot
writes
of
on
bass.
bass.
He
Oh,
just
okay.
doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily play it
interesting.
on
Yeah.
stage currently.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so going into that then, like, how does the writing process usually work? Because I keep seeing on your stories you guys are working on new music, and I see Rob working on keys, and there's so many different instruments that you guys have on the record. So how does it really kind of start? Is it, I mean, it's hard to say because I'm sure it's always different, but who usually comes up with the first, like, idea?
It might be different, like the first record versus now what we're trying to do, kind of thing. You know, so the process has changed over the past almost 3 years now, I guess, since the first
Yeah.
Mellons.
Are we
kind of-
3 years old?
This spring, I mean, that's when we started working on like Devil's Advocate, and you guys had
Yeah.
done so much to say, even a
Cool.
year and a half or two before that kind of thing.
That's
The
exciting.
seeds of those things, but yeah, I don't know. I was just saying, like, it was very, very much originally like demos from Rob and Andrew
Mhm.
that were like it would be like a verse, pre-chorus, and a chorus, demo over. You know, or
Lennon
something.
and McCartney.
yeah. So then it'd be like, well, what happens once the demo stops? So we'd kind of like,
Where's the bridge?
so either Andrew would complete it by himself, and then we'd all fill in parts and go right together, or Rob would just be like, hey, I really want help on drums, so let's all write this piece together. So we'd actually go and we'd try and track the drums on the spot. And 4 of us would be in a room trying to write a drum part together, which is now sounds very
amazing.
stressful.
Thank you, Ian,
but
for
Ian
your
is like the most patient
patience.
dude.
It was great.
Oh God, that's my favorite thing ever
Five
is a
stars.
non-drummer being like, oh, you know, he's like a
Yeah.
Everybody has
It's
their own
not like-
vocabulary.
Yeah. It's not so much gush, it's more shugadagush.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you're not just not getting. It's like
Yeah.
you get that all the time. I'm sorry.
No, it's amusing.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm glad everything. I'm happy at the record. I'm pointing at the record the way it turned out, but we might do things slightly different probably
Totally.
this time or whatever and whatnot.
I think coming into the first album, we had a bunch of demos, like Denny's saying, and we finished them together. And going into the next album, we're trying to just start more collaborative. Like, let's get everyone's influence turned up more and rely on each other more. And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Ian's gonna be the lead singer from now on.
Yep, I'm going full Phil Collins because I'm staying on the drums.
I'm staying on
He's
the
going
drums.
full Eagles.
It's more of a.
Oh, yeah.
I can feel it. So sorry, I guess we kind of jumped forward, but going for the two duos, kind of
Yeah.
finally meeting up. Was it like one of those things when you guys finally do meet up for the first time? You're like, oh, this is something.
Well, I think it's really cute is the word I'll use. Because Andrew and I had just barely decided, like, yeah, let's go for this. Let's officially merge our solo projects and start a thing. And we're like, let's take Denny out to lunch, like, ASAP.
Did you guys go to Denny's?
Seduce.
We went to Denny's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We were at
I'm 2 for 2.
Denny's.
Yeah. And before we could even invite him, Denny was like, well, this is perfect. I've been thinking for months that you guys need to merge your projects and we can all do something and let's get Ian in on it. And
I
we're
was
like,
weirdly,
yes!
I was weirdly like, I'm a confident, extroverted person, but I was weirdly like, I was
You were-
almost going to ask them separately in the future. It
You were
wasn't
feeling
probably maybe there,
prophetic.
but I was like, okay, Andrew's doing this cool Baroque pop thing, Rob's doing this cool Baroque pop thing, or whatever. But like, I don't know where their allegiance lies right now. From all the day sounds wasn't like the most pretty thing or whatever. Different story, but. Yeah, and then they were both like, "Oh, we want to join together and do this stuff," and I was like, "Thank you," like, because they had both wanted to collaborate with me anyways.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like, as a producer or like a co-producer even or whatever, it's hard to like separate all these projects and try and juggle a lot of stuff. So when they were like, "Let's do this together," I was like, "Thank you," and then they were like. How do you feel about convincing your buddy Ian?
Oh my
to
gosh,
come
you're
to
Ringo. You're Ringo.
Yeah.
You
like,
gotta get Ian. We gotta
yeah.
get Ian.
Do you think he'd be into it? And I was like, maybe. I can't speak for him.
Yeah, he's my lawyer.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know the proper lawyer terms, Rob, but
It's like
Rob went to law
it's
school.
an acquisition.
Yeah.
It's an acquisition. Typical drummer. He's like, I'm already in 10 bands, man.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So
True.
we tried to be sly. We're like, well, let's just invite Ian to come record on some tracks with us. Like, he'll just be our session drummer. We'll kind of ease him into the idea. We were trying
See
to
if
be
he's
so
into
subtle.
it.
that
Yeah,
what you were
yeah,
doing?
exactly. Yeah.
That's what we were doing.
It's
So then
called gaslight.
we were doing.
had no idea.
Next album title.
I'm still not even sure if I'm your drummer. Am I? What's going
Ian's
on?
like, I'm in the band.
Shh, get back in the car.
So we had.
I
This,
didn't recognize you without the mustache.
Oh yeah, another story for a different time.
So we had this beautiful moment where it all clinched, where we were doing the session drums with Ian, and we paused for a minute, and Ian looks up and he says, "So when we do this song live, we should blah 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 blah." And we were like, "Yes, it worked!"
that's funny.
I always say being in a band is like dating, you know, especially like the first initial moments where you're jamming or you're recording and you don't want to like fully
You don't wanna reveal too much.
Yeah, be super vulnerable, but then it is moments like that, you know, where you let something slip, where it's like, yeah, so when we do this live, like, oh wait, so what are you implying?
So when we have our first kid.
Oh yeah.
So if we had kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Same
So
idea.
I'm thinking we change the band name.
But yeah, so as far as that first record goes, it was a lot of Andrew and Rob songs that we kind of just like added a lot of stuff to and collaborated, wrote a ton of parts and stuff like that. There was a lot of back and forth and whatnot. We got into my studio, which is now getting torn down, and I have to move out last week and stuff. But so Rob would shoot out ideas and say, hey, I want horns on this song. And we'd go in, or hey, I want like harmonies on it. So Andrew would add a bunch of harmonies or whatever. So a lot of the songs, I'd say like 3/4 of the record was kind of there. We just hadn't worked out the sequencing or like interludes, and we kind of finished a few songs towards the end. Like Marmalade wasn't fully finished, or Surprise wasn't fully finished, kind of thing. But we kind of finished those songs in the studio or as a band. I'm trying to think what else. The interludes were definitely not there either.
Yeah.
But the intro. The intro song was like this kind of Rob demo that was like 3 minutes long that we kind of wrestled with for like a year.
Yeah.
That was sort of the first song that we wrote together.
The intro?
It was like that
We
was like
did
the first
jam it a while. I
collaborative
mean,
thing.
it was Rob's thing. It was there,
It was.
but like we, as a band, we kind of started.
Right. I just remember like going back and forth so much on the
Oh, yeah.
structure of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that was the first time where it's like, well, okay, this is like our first experience writing a song together. You know?
And then you were like, it is like dating.
This is the bad part of dating. Huh?
It's so interesting hearing that you guys, like you're saying, like there are different demos and everything else, and then piecing them together because you guys, I mean, it flows together so perfectly. Like even when you kind of mentioned Surprise, like when it goes into the, I guess you could say the bridge part, and it kind of shifts
The second
gears.
half,
It's like
yeah.
you wouldn't. I mean, it seems so intentional because it feels so cool.
Thanks.
I think, yeah, some of it happens in hindsight of creation when we're getting towards the end of that project, where we can start to make all these connections of Andrew's, like his fallbacks on different styles of writing at the time, like what he had, all those styles that he had been writing, we could pull things out of that. Or Rob, he was in this mode, and for me to be able to collaborate with them and for them to take my ideas seriously, I can see as an outsider, I can see like these strains between songs and stuff like that. And help them connect their own songs,
Which is
to each
nice
other
because if
kind
they're
of
too
thing.
close to the painting, you from back
Sure,
here,
yeah.
it can help
Yeah.
kind of connect the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So to really help them aggrandize these amazing songs they already wrote and just make them weave into like a semi-light concept kind of thing. And I'm not saying it was
Yeah.
just me that did it or
Right,
whatever,
right.
but I'm saying like we all kind of helped each other, like be like, and the sequencing was really hard, honestly. I remember us going back and forth a ton, where we would pitch different ideas for different order of the songs and stuff and whatnot. But
Because I was wondering if those preludes were like actually deliberate, or if you guys after like, oh, we need some more tracks, or we needed to kind of.
I feel like that was Denny. I'm going to toot Denny's horn. In every meaning of the word.
In public?
Phrase. Yeah.
In public?
Why not? There's no
It's just
rating
a
on
private
this
record.
podcast.
here's my horn.
I attribute a lot of the cohesion in the record to Denny. Because although he hasn't said this title on this podcast, he was essentially the producer. Like everyone has ideas, everyone has instrumental ideas and harmony ideas, but Denny was the one in the chair recording, engineering, mixing, and kind of informing the process. So I think that cohesion is thanks to you, my friend. And with the preludes, that I'm going to
Touching
toot Denny's horn even
Put
more.
that horn away.
Teamwork. I thought Rob played horn.
No, I don't play horn.
Oh,
Me.
That's
He plays
Dennis.
sax
that's right.
as well, so we have 2 horn players technically in the band.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you guys all have a bunch of different instruments you play too, right? I mean, like I feel like I'm trying to think what the song was that starts. It seems like with banjo.
Oh, it's Strawberry Girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts with banjo with like
That's right.
reverb.
That was
Right.
weird. Not to tangent much, but Andrew was in this. He was renting from my studio for a while, so I just gave him keys, and I would oftentimes like come in and he'd be working on something or whatever, or he'd say, "Hey, you want to work late or whatever?" And I came in and he was working on this really cool piece, which became Strawberry Girl. But I was just like, "Oh, these are cool chords." It was just 2 chords back and forth, but it was really pretty, major sevenths and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't know why. Did you tell me to pick up the banjo? I don't even remember.
No, it's the stuff of legends.
I don't know, but I just started playing something, and he was like, "That's really cool." And we kind of let the original songwriter help guide a lot of the direction of a song, and whatnot. So I was like, "Yeah, if you like it, let's keep it." I don't know what my point was there, but yes, there was banjo on it.
I totally thought you were gonna say you came in the studio and he was like in the corner in the dark, just like ding 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 ding.
That's also true.
He was on, I don't know, you were on guitar or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is really pretty." Yeah, that's Andrew tune.
We all played everything. It's very
Right.
confusing.
Yeah.
So Denny plays guitar, bass, piano, trumpet, French horn,
Euphonium.
xylophone, euphonium,
Yeah.
poker,
Recorder.
rummy.
Badminton.
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Pokemon. Yeah.
He plays it all.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I have a
Oh.
Tamagotchi.
I think they call it a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah. The whole orchestra.
Rob does a lot of stuff on the record. Ian, friggin', you think of the drum kit as one thing, but there's really, I mean, I like to toot drummers' horns. Man. I like to toot their horn for drummers because they're doing, I mean, things with all four of their limbs.
Right.
So it's just like, it's insane.
It is. Yeah.
Like, it gets summed down to one thing, but like, really, none of us could really do as technically, with the technical prowess
Oh,
that he has on the record, you know, in the feel that he has. Like, just even Marmalade, like, I love his like, drum beat on that and the sync, you know,
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
That one grooves.
Thank you.
like, anyway. So, and then Andrew plays a freaking litany as well. Sax on Magic Spell.
Right. I forgot that there's saxophone on the album.
No, he kills it on freaking
Oh, that
Yeah.
song.
Oh, there's a
rips,
little
yeah.
bit on
Strawberry Girl, too,
Girl as
in
well.
the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are those types of things that you like have the vision of making it into the song when you're writing it, or if, as you're recording, you're just like, it's on the spot. You just this I know what this needs now. Like it just kind of progresses to that point, or
Both.
you just kind of do it because you all.
I'm gonna say for me, it's pretty experimental. Like when I start a track, I'll just kind of build it up until there's like way too much stuff on it, and then
And then kind of take
then
piece
kind of
back
figure out
from
back,
it.
yeah.
what's, and then a lot of it doesn't sound good, you know. Like I'll try stuff and be like, no, and then try something else, and eventually like an idea will seem to like stick with the track, but. Just a lot of trying shit out,
Yeah.
you know? Like, there's probably muted tracks on all of our songs of, like, weird guitar solos
sure
and, like,
is. Yeah.
strange glockenspiel parts that never made it, you know what I
We
mean?
should release those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost
I'm
like
interested.
like what do they call that? Like the
Maybe not.
negatives.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
The photography thing.
It's like a,
I mean, like-
a box set that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I love it.
But thinking of like for Rob's song, so much to say, like that one went through like 5 different iterations of mixers and demos,
Right.
even drummers, professional drummers, like and stuff like that. It's just I don't know, you know, like
It's a mess. I mean, it's
that
our,
song's freaking 6 years old almost now.
Oh,
that kind of
wow.
thing.
Okay.
So our process is a mess. If you were looking for the through line here, what's the point of everything we're saying? So we don't
It's a
know
mess.
what we're doing.
I know. I think it's better that way. I think, yeah, because like he's saying, like experimenting. I don't think you could get to the certain places you guys did if you didn't experiment and try to go to different. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Otherwise, it would just be verse, chorus, you know, kind of.
One thing I've noticed, like in different art forms, like I do a lot of visual art, but one thing I try to do, and I think this might be why it's about like layering on and then finding out what sticks for me, is one thing I try to do is work until the thing I'm working on makes me have like an emotional reaction, you know?
Yeah.
So like if I'm playing a guitar part, let's say I'm writing a guitar solo just for sake of example. If I play a guitar solo and it's just like, I mean, it's a guitar solo, then I don't want to keep it, you know? But the moment where I play it or hear it or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's like the only time I feel like I can expect someone else will have an emotional reaction when they
Right.
listen to it, you know?
Exactly.
Because if I put it out there kind of like meh, then I can only imagine that the person who hears it's going to be like, eh.
Exactly. Yeah, I've said that for a long time. If you're not your own, you know, biggest fan of your music, then how do you
Who
expect
is?
it? Yeah, who else is going to care about it? you
Right,
know?
right.
So.
But that's another thing that's cool about working with other people, though, is that for me, I like if I'm working on a song, certain things will come out of me. But then many, many times I've sent my songs to these guys and been like, I don't know, I need this part, and then they'll send me an idea, like a guitar idea or a horn idea or words or something, and I'll be like, oh yes, and it couldn't have come from me, you know, because I have only one brain with certain things that it does. But
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get, I feel like that with any collaboration is nice because then it just takes it to another. The four of you are more, you know, strong as a group to go to somewhere else than just one of you. You know,
Yeah, with our powers combined.
with our
I feel like it definitely takes some trust to let some of that go. Sometimes, like it's your baby, it's your idea. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think collaboration's hard, but that which you could, I'm sure, do a whole podcast on, but it like has it's the trade-off, right? Because if you're writing it all by yourself, you have the peace of not having to have anyone else touch it, but then you also don't have like the added inspiration and like aid from different people. So it's kind of a trade-off, you know?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So at what point are you guys? I mean, because you guys kind of already dress super cool and everything already. Were you guys like a deliberate thing,
Thank
like
you.
we got to make sure that we're all kind of, you like, dressing the same or whatever else, or did you said you kind of already had an idea of the retro kind of thing?
I think it has to do with just the style in general. So I would say whatever group we're in, whatever style of music it would be. For me, I feel like it's cool to have the whole thing be a package. So
It does, yeah.
if we were a Norwegian black metal band,
Yeah,
I
you
would
better be
hope
wearing the
that
face
we
paint, yeah.
do the face paint and the long beards and
gotta.
everything. But I just
Sacrifice a goat, whatever you gotta
I just
do.
think
Can you
like
imagine us?
whatever is the style, I think the aesthetics and the music are kind of like they complement each other. So
And
Andrew just gave away the second album, but that's fine.
Norwegian melon metal.
Melon metal.
So
poking out.
at what point you said you kind of been working on the songs, you get the whole things. At what point you guys like decide on the band name?
This really does feel like Legend at this point because I don't remember exactly.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was
know.
I don't remember either.
One of those
I feel
things
like-
where people just like have a bunch of ideas. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
know. And
Well,
then
I
just
remember
someone
It
says
is
it.
not. It is not from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
We will say that because a
the
lot
word
of people.
for melon in Elvish. What does it mean?
It's
Friend.
It means
A
friend.
lot,
Tender.
a lot of people are like, "Oh, cool, yeah, I love that Lord of the Rings friend."
We're like, we're not friends. What
not.
are you guys
What are you talking about?
This is a business.
So personally, I found out that
This is a
Lord of the
corporation.
We're in this for the
trivia
money.
after.
An S corp.
Yeah.
You found out for that after, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I do remember is that Rob and I had a big fat Google
Whoa.
Doc with a bunch of ideas in it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how it like coalesced down, but there were some pretty cool almost names in there.
You guys want to like?
I don't know.
Can I buy some or?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I got a long list, but yeah, it's gonna cost you. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you guys. I feel like you guys also asked too with just a couple different names.
Yeah.
And maybe Mellons just poked out where I was like, Mellons isn't taken or something. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe we were just surprised that it
down
had,
to
Yeah.
like
had
8
been
or
taken, and we're like
7
the
or
single word band
You're like,
names
how's
are
that
like
not-
all
yeah,
taken. right?
Exactly.
You know what else was available is the telephones.
Oh,
Are you
we totally did the
serious?
Isn't that
telephones.
cool?
But it's kind of funny that we use telephones
Right,
and
right.
everything,
Right,
and
yeah.
all of our marketing and everything.
You-
Another one I like.
You always got to go back and check though, because we did the same thing with the podcast.
Yeah.
Originally, it was going to be called Six Set Bro. You know, how
Yeah,
it was
Six
Six
Set
Set
Bro.
Six Set Bro. And when I had the idea, no one had it. Then it went like a couple years later when we finally went to do it. We actually had it originally said Six Set Bro and
No
and
way,
everything.
you paid for the banner and everything.
Not the banner, but
God
just like
damn
the illustration and
Yeah.
everything. And then we
Yeah.
went and did it. And then I went to upload our first episode, and we're like, oh, someone took it.
No.
Dang it.
Yeah. So you got to hop on them when you can.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Man. So I have a related story to that. So the one person who uses the name Mellons is the Mellons, the Carnegie Mellons, who are of course a rich American family. And you guys don't know this story, but we got an email in our inbox.
Are you serious?
Last week.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh.
I saw that email.
This very nice gentleman
Oh.
said, "Hey boys, like I enjoy your music, but why are you using our last name?"
Oh my
you
gosh,
serious?
that's what happened with Led Zeppelin. You know about
I did
that,
not
right?
know
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin had the same thing, and
Someone's last
They-
name is Led Zeppelin.
no Zeppelin. There's the actual people that. So this is the crazy thing: is that it was her dad that created the Zeppelin,
Oh,
and they were,
yeah,
she was
yeah.
not happy about that. And they're like, the Zeppelin was a horrible idea.
Right.
Like it's they had to like meet with her and like
Whoa.
buy the name or like convince her to let them
gosh.
use the name Led Zeppelin.
That's so
yeah.
weird.
One
'cause
made
it's-
out of lead is even worse.
Wait, so what happened with that?
I wrote back and told him like, "Hey, I'm so glad we connected. It's great to hear." He was really kind.
Why
I
you guys
said,
using
Like,
her name?
look, lots of people
Yeah.
have that name.
I told him that the idea was we were doing the '60s thing where you pick just a basic pedestrian item like a melon, and
Or
then
the Beatles or
Yeah,
whatever
St.
else.
Paul
Yeah.
in front of it.
and then
Yeah.
tweak the spelling. So the Beatles did it, the Monkees did it.
So many,
Birds.
so many, yeah. Of
So I
course.
told him that's all we were doing, and he was like, "Cool. Well, you can expect to be served in 21 days." I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, no, you sounded so serious.
No, he was
Those
really
guys
kind.
will wipe the floor with us.
No, it
Yeah, they
started a
would.
conversation. Turns out he and his brothers used to watch the Monkees TV show.
Oh,
growing
so
up,
that was an
and-
in. So if you
What?
guys were a different band, you would have been in
Wait.
trouble.
Yeah,
So-
we were that
Right.
Does
Norwegian
he want
metal
to invest?
band.
So there's a twist in the story, and they're like funding us now with
Yeah.
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're getting Zeppelins.
Here's 50 G's for your next record, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so we don't know where it ended?
That's it. We're friends now.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
Mellon-
That could have been
Mellon
so
does
much
mean
worse.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That could have been so much worse.
He's
Yeah, that's
part
awesome.
of the Carnegie Mellons, huh?
That's
I
funny.
assume so.
Put that on the Wikipedia page.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did they just think you had some ill intent, or were they just like, oh, like it's not as big a deal as we?
They were just asking.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's-
"Hey, so it's kind of weird that you're."
That's so funny.
using my
Oh,
name."
like if we would have been calling ourselves the Smiths or the Johnsons or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
that amazes me though that somehow came across his desk. You
I
know?
know.
Yeah, how did he even?
He was trying to start his first
he has a
Instagram
guy.
account.
Yeah, you should ask him how he first heard about us.
He might have Googled, like, Google, are there any bands that happen to be using my last name? Go out of the original. Enter. That's my guess. Yeah.
Well, if he's
That was like a
anything,
narrative.
if he's anything like me, he was just googling his own name every day just to see what happened.
We all are guilty of it, Andrew.
Everybody
right?
knows
Right, guys?
that that's
Everybody,
what normal adult
Right?
men do.
Come on, guys. You Google your own podcast.
How could you
right?
not? Why wouldn't you? Unfortunately, our podcast name comes up with people that like do lifting. So
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
snowboarding,
Snowboarding.
skating,
Yeah.
right?
it seems
like, let's
honestly
shred,
everything
right?
comes
Shredded
with lift.
chicken.
Yeah, it's like what the hell?
We should just lean into that.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
should.
shred chicken.
Just throw in a food podcast every once in a while.
Yeah, why not? So, kind of the emphasis of the podcast is like bad show stories, bad tour stories, and you guys have been playing for a while. So, you guys got any funny? I mean, not it doesn't have to be just Mellons stories, but
I think we only have bad show stories.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
We're still working on our first good show. Ask the Mellons.
I think I can tell the story of our worst show.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think in my
Please do.
mind, our worst show was our first one.
Turn off the
Surprise there.
Just kidding.
clip that.
40 seconds later, good story.
Awesome.
So our first show, we were playing Psych Lake City in 2021?
Yeah, it was 2021.
2021?
Summer.
They very kindly invited us because they knew that we were going for a psych rock thing. And we had been kind of a studio band for the last year and a half.
Okay.
I think our album was actually, was it done or almost done?
Most of it was done other than maybe Surprise and Marmalade. But the demo was cut from, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it.
Hadn't played live though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
were,
it hadn't been released. No, any music had been
Right,
released
nothing
at this point.
released. Been
Oh
released.
wow!
No.
So it was all
in
fresh.
fact, we hadn't even like announced the band on Instagram yet. This was like
Right.
a pre-debut
It was like a secret show thing.
And we were feeling great about ourselves as writers and collaborators. We're like, listen to this album. We're really good.
it is. Though.
But we had
yeah,
not-
it is.
We didn't know how to,
Thanks.
we didn't know how to play a single song. And Denny and Ian are like seasoned veterans. They know how to play live well. But Andrew and I, for as long as we've been writing together, we really haven't performed.
It's been quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah, not a ton of performance experience. So we got up there. It's like Psych Lake City. It's like 948 degrees outside.
It is, yeah.
I checked.
In our mock neck, like,
Yeah,
Mad
we're
Cap
wearing
shirts.
like turtleneck stuff, very hot wardrobe choice. And we were super rushed for some reason. I think the previous band went long, or we took too
yeah,
long setting
any
up.
festival.
Yeah, and they were like,
festival
yeah.
turnarounds are
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
so the sound guy was like, you have 12 minutes to play your set.
Oh, I hate that.
And we were like, okay. So I think this was subconscious, but apparently we all had the same thought of, let's play everything extremely fast.
Classic.
We're on stage, we're sweating, we've never played live before, we can't hear
Yeah.
ourselves. It's a million degrees.
The monitor mixes probably weren't that good.
Yeah, and we were. The story gets worse. We were still fighting about that song we mentioned, the intro song.
Okay,
We were still
yeah.
trying to decide how long it was.
Oh.
We didn't really know, but that was our first song on our set list. We're like, let's do it. So we all lean in, and it's supposed to open with this beautiful dun dun ah.
Right.
And everyone sings ah, and I don't think any of us knew our notes. So the first impression that the audience,
was like,
the
dun
world
dun.
ever had was boop, boop, ah!
Did we play like the 2-minute version of
We
it then?
played 2 minutes.
Yeah, like a 2.
Harmonize. Oh.
So it's supposed to be like a 50-second song now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are leaving, asking for their money back.
Uh-huh.
I think our friends and family were excited.
Well, the main feedback I got from my family was like, so that first song, like, are there supposed to be words or is it just for 4 minutes?
Is it just yelling or?
Did you have actually did anyone do like come up and do like the introduction
we
introduction
hadn't
part? or-
recorded that yet.
Oh,
So
okay.
Andrew kind of hired some guy to do that. Literally like the last week of us.
Oh, is that right?
The last week of us recording that record,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
our label was like, "Can you finish it by Thanksgiving?" And we were like, "Yes." and then November 1st comes around,
Yes,
and all of us were like,
asterisk.
"Shiz, we're not done with this record." So anyway, the intro part came like at the finish line, or what do you call it? What's a good expression of the finish line? I don't know.
I liked it.
Yeah.
The finish line.
So.
Speaking of kind of, I guess that kind of thing, "Salad Made of Butterflies," such a amazing track. Is the old British guy on the end? Is that a real? Is
He's
that,
a fake person.
No, I mean, like, did you like flip
AI.
it from somebody else's like speech,
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
did you?
Oh yeah. So a friend of mine wrote that poem, Actually, she.
Oh, that's what I was hoping, man. I was hoping it was something
Yeah.
like that and not just
So
like,
actually-
oh,
We
gotta
this
give her
guy's.
credit,
Yeah,
Lainey.
well, yeah.
Yeah, my friend Lainey Baudelaire wrote the poem. She actually just wrote the first line, and I like read it maybe in her notebook or something. It just said salad made of butterflies.
You
And
just
I
shifted through a
didn't
notebook
know
one
what
day.
that was, and I was like, whoa. And it just like gave me immediately like ideas, you know?
Yeah, a bunch of visuals and everything.
So I started like recording crazy shit, and then at the end I was just thinking like, I don't remember how I thought, but I was just thinking it might be fun to do something like spoken word, you know? Because at first I was like thinking maybe it would have like singing in it. Like there's a second of singing, but I thought it might be like, I asked her like, can you write a whole poem? And I thought we might sing it with a melody and stuff. But after she wrote it, I was just thinking it would be kind of cool if it was just like spoken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had worked with this guy before. He's this cool South African dude who was
Oh,
in
it's
my
South Africa. I thought it was British.
Dude,
right. He was in
accents are
my
hard.
church. He was in my church growing up, and so I like looked him up to see if he was still alive. Because I remember his voice just had the most beautiful timbre to it, you
Yeah.
know? Like when he bore his
It's-
testimony and stuff.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is real.
Yeah. His voice was so good.
And I was like, oh, I just love your voice. Okay.
There's something so true about like having a good, beautiful voice.
Yeah, I was like,
that's,
if
so
David
convincing.
Attenborough bears his testimony,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
will
yeah, I
agree.
will be there to hear that. Yes, I will be there.
It is true, whatever he says. So anyways, I looked him up, and he's still around. So I drove down to Provo. I hung out with him for like a couple of hours, and he recorded the poem. And it was really cool. I just like what it adds, you know.
I think it's perfect.
It's so yeah. Oh my god.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like once again, the album full is amazing from front to back, A to B.
Thank
but
you.
like that song too, as well, with having that. When I first heard the poem bit,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, I really hope that they like wrote that, or that's a real, once
Cool.
again, an actual, not a fake person, not an AI. But like,
Yeah,
because
not just taken from something else.
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends do that where they like take a TED talk or something, or take somebody's
Right.
like clip and then
Right.
you just put it into there. So the fact that the story is that is super cool.
Oh, thanks. I just want to add one more detail about that song, just because
Yes,
it's
please do.
interesting to me. I don't know if you guys think it's interesting.
I do. Please tell me.
All right, never mind.
When you said
No,
never
just-
mind, I woke up.
I was just gonna say
Good Nirvana joke.
that song is fun just because like, you know, I think we all like weird experimental stuff, but not ever sure if anyone else is gonna like it. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
So,
I've had
uh,
multiple people tell me it's their favorite
Right.
track
So
on the
so I think
on the
we were all
record,
like,
so.
let's put it on the record. We like it. It's cool. It's cool. It's one track, you know. But I feel like a bunch of people have in their reviews of the album have
It's-
been like, this song is really neat. So it just is gratifying to me. Mostly because it's just really weird. So it's nice to, you know, it doesn't have
Yeah.
like a chorus or anything like that. It's just
I think that's
kinda
what's
strange.
beautiful about it, man. I mean, this whole album's such like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thanks.
Because it's just like I'm so used to hearing kind of the same, or at least you know these days, what's on the radio is always just kind of
Right.
the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I mean, this is like the kind of, well, I guess it's more personal because I love this kind of music.
Sure.
But like, no one's putting out new music.
oh,
You know what I
thanks.
mean?
Yeah, we're
So
definitely not trying to chase trends. Not to make like be on a
No,
high
yeah,
horse
you
or
guys
anything,
started
but
your
we
own
just
thing
made a
for
record
sure,
that
yeah.
we liked and
There's
would
this-
listen to.
And that's why it
kinda-
stands out. Yeah.
There's this John Lennon quote, I think, where he says that in the Beatles, he wanted to make the catchiest, edgiest pop. And I feel like that's what I want to do. You know,
Yeah.
like as weird as it can be while still being as like
Yeah.
people can enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think that's actually a Gordon B. Hinckley quote. But yeah,
That's right.
That is good.
So PR in the 90s.
Yeah.
We'll make the church as edgy as possible. But anyways, I'm gratified that anyone is interested in that track.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
one's fun.
I love it for sure. Kind of moving in, if we can. I know. I guess it'd be more directed towards Andrew a little bit for that, but your guys' music videos are so like awesome.
Thanks.
You guys filmed them yourself, right? On like an actual like, not a fake camera, right?
not an AI.
I don't keep coming back to the.
We hired a dude who's in Salt Lake named Brennan Bateman. He's a really great filmographer. That's not a word. Cinematographer. He's a great dude. He like goes on tour with bands and like films their stuff. Like I think.
Backseat Lovers. He
Like,
goes.
yeah,
on.
like those
okay.
guys.
Yeah.
So I had seen some. Rob and I were trying to find somebody to help us film it. I think we went through a couple of different people, but I want to keep working with him because he really helps us make our vision come to.
We had help
reality.
from this guy that's off camera in the room too.
Burn,
Vern Tooley.
burn.
Take a bow. Yeah,
So-
I recognized you from
Vern
the video.
bows off screen.
You put that in the
Please, yeah, we'll have the text at the,
The
bottom
text at
for
the
sure.
Vern blushes off screen.
Vern holds back laugh off screen.
Vern's face turns red.
Vern never speaks with the Mellons again. Yeah, the music videos were really fun.
Like
What do you-
for, I guess, I mean, for both of them, I guess, starting with the puppets. Like, where did that come from? That idea?
Where did that idea come from?
I don't know.
You guys heard of Sesame Street?
Yeah, dude. Who's the first to come up with a puppet?
You heard of Jim Henson before?
But I mean, like that whole. I mean, I guess you guys only have the 2 videos out at the moment, right? So
Yeah,
I mean,
full
both of them
videos.
are solid. But I just love on that one how like the aspect of when a band is like they take themselves serious, but they don't take themselves too serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like the fun aspect of it where we're just like, yeah, the recordings we take seriously or whatever in the songs.
Right.
But then
yeah.
it's like let's have fun,
Yeah,
I
with-
guess, also, and show people that we're not like U2 serious or Radiohead. I mean, I love Radiohead.
Calling out you too.
Now we're gonna get an email from Bono.
Yeah.
No, and I those bands are both great, but it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's some aspect of fun to our music and bounciness, and I feel like I'd like there to be some sort of visceral colors that come when you listen to our music, and maybe What a Time, those are a representation of what Andrew sees in his head, and Rob a little bit, or maybe all of us, to an extent or something. Like a pastel jade dream is what one critic called it, or
That's
something,
right.
right? Or
Yeah.
something.
I think for
It's
me,
just very pleasing to just watch and listen to at the same time because they complement each other very well.
Oh,
Thank
nice.
you.
Good praise.
I think I really am attracted to the aesthetic of
Wes Anderson,
True.
because that's like one of my. I just love him so much too. So when I found you guys, I was like, fucking love the Beatles. I love Beach Boys. I love
Yes.
Wes Anderson. All these different things that seem to be like what I like and
Oh,
kind of
cool.
collaborate. I kind of joked with my wife when I found you guys. It's like Pet Sounds and Sgt. Pepper had a baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Which
Thank
are
you.
like-
praise.
Yeah, if you don't know, those are the 2 best
Records
albums
of all
like ever
time.
time. Yeah, so check those out.
Check them out.
Well, if these mics weren't so expensive, you could do a mic drop.
I would. How about a mic swing?
I'll catch it.
I was just gonna say, I like retro TV shows a lot. Like,
Oh, cool.
Mr. Rogers and Captain Kangaroo. I like them because they're like kind of demonstrably low budget, but in like a very charming kind of way. So I don't know. That's for me kind of where the What a Time aesthetic is from. It's just like kids shows from like the late 60s that are like a little bit shitty, but in like a fun way.
But in the best way
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys lucked out with him being an illustrator too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like knowing all the color schemes and everything. And
But
suppose.
we save a lot of money. That's why he's in the band.
That's my main role.
He happens to
favorite.
write decent songs too.
it just happens. Because you did all the album artwork, right?
Yeah. Yep, I do most of the visual stuff, but yeah, it's really fun for me. I mean, I think I didn't realize until this band actually that visuals to me are like as important in music. Like I think
it's
I didn't
huge.
know that wasn't how like everybody felt, but I mean, this past couple of years of my life, I've been learning about how everybody's so different, and you can never expect that someone thinks of something the same way that you do because you're just not the same person,
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me this long to figure that out, but I think I realized that the aesthetics for me are like half of the thing,
Yeah,
Like,
it really is. Yeah.
like when I like a band, I'm like half looking at pictures of them, half listening to their music, just because that's very fun for me. But
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, like, when you're going through the record shop and you see like a cool album cover, you're like, oh, I'll check them out because of that. But
Right.
that's
Right.
that huge
I think that's
thing.
what we're hoping for in record shops.
Yeah, exactly.
around the country and stuff. That it would pop on the
It
front of
does.
a row.
It's so much
It
different.
just
yeah.
end up at the front of a row somehow, and
Yeah.
someone would just catch it and be like, "Whoa,
Precisely.
cool."
What were you gonna say, Ian?
Yeah,
Sir?
I was gonna. So Bryant, he's the owner of our label. He said that
Earth Libraries, right?
Earth Libraries, yeah, we love them. He was saying that when they were looking, I think they found us on what was the name
Submit
of
Hub?
that
I was
No,
wondering
it's
how,
Rob.
how you
On
ended up
Submit
getting.
Hub.
Rob
Yeah.
reached out.
And okay, because he saw our photo that Andrew, or I guess it was Truman who took it. But I guess my point is, I don't know if we would have really made that good of an impression, or even be with Earth Libraries if we
If it
haven't,
wasn't for
if
the
we
photo.
wouldn't have had that
Yeah.
kind of aesthetic refined, and
So how-
it does go a long way.
How early on did they get involved Like, how have you guys ever released a bunch of songs or?
Rob, when was that meeting?
Two mics, please.
two mics.
Yes, double mic, sir.
Wow.
Check the phase.
It's like a full press conference.
Yeah, we want these out of phase, please.
So we were DIYing it, and we released Salad Made of Butterflies on the DL. And we were just trying to claim our Spotify account, because you know how.
Yeah, hurry get the Mellons, man.
Yeah,
The guy with the last name had it.
Before
we
the
had to fight
Carnegie
him.
guy.
Bare knuckle boxing.
They were going to release their demo, and we were like, no. No, so with Spotify, like, there's something where you can't pitch a song to the editors unless you've already released one song. So we released Salad Made of Butterflies just to claim the account. And then we were preparing to release So Much to Say on our own. And then almost on a fluke, we reached out to Earth Libraries online. And then mercifully, they swung in and helped us release So Much to Say properly. It did even better than Salad Made of Butterflies, which had no fanfare.
Well, we didn't tell anyone about it.
So pretty much from the beginning, the label's been with us, and they've been awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, most people, don't have that opportunity. Like right out of the gate, you have to go and suffer for however long. But
I mean, I'd say we all suffered in
different projects.
Previous
This is one
projects,
click, yeah.
but
We're gonna say
It's almost like we did it in reverse order. Like we did.
Yeah.
Like we pretty much had our album done before we played our first Fateful show.
Right.
And
then,
we were in discussions with signing to a label.
True.
Before we even played that show.
yeah, we hadn't even played a first show.
Nice.
It's a good thing the label's not from Utah, because if they'd seen our first
They'd
show,
have
they'd
been
been like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
That's such a great story for the people that were at that. They can be like, I was at the first Mellon show.
They really
yeah.
did suck.
There was like 3 people there, and then they'll
There
all
was
remember.
more than 3. 4.
Yeah.
It was a good
Right.
turnout.
It's 3.5 people.
My mom, my dad, my dog.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog.
Get to those people that like lie about it. They're like, no, I was at the first Mellon show. And you guys are like, no, you weren't.
I can count the people on one hand, and you were not there.
You weren't there, man.
There was people in the other bands at the festival. The sound guy. No.
Sound guy's dog.
Yeah, you said you guys focus a lot on shows.
Yeah,
and,
sorry.
like,
Yeah, we kind of
tragic
got off
stuff.
that. Yeah, so.
I would say that our first real show was that second one at Urban Lounge,
Yeah.
where we actually had come out on Instagram. That sounds weird, but anyways, we had made a splash and been like, we're a band.
But
Right.
we are allies.
You had
Yes.
actually had announced that you were going to be a band.
Yeah, and we actually promoted that next show. It was like Mellons, Fontaine, and Goldmyth, I think.
Right.
And that was like our first show where we played a decent set, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, Vern, you were there, right?
I mean, sure.
The band's Fontaine's or Fontaine's DC?
No, Fontaine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the girl.
I was about to lose it. Like, you guys play with Fontaine's DC?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Our
But-
first show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you guys want to get back into the theme of you
Yeah,
guys shred
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing, I feel like our first okay set was that second show.
You're supposed to tell stories about how it went poorly.
I know.
No,
I mean, it was hot. Our in-ears probably didn't work perfectly, and monitors probably weren't perfect and everything and stuff. We probably played things a little bit fast. But I think the more shows we played, the more settled we were on tempos and stuff. But is there any...
This is totally
I love
random. But there's just a recurring theme in our band, which is one of the vocalists, who's not me, forgetting lyrics in his songs.
I don't know anyone
On
who does
stage.
that.
I've never done that.
No, never.
Yeah. Why would you? What?
Keaton's never done that.
So this is
No.
actually a treat. So one of the vocalists, who's not me or Denny or Ian, is a brilliant lyricist, brilliant vocalist, brilliant in so many ways. And there's a fun recurring theme of just kind of forgetting lyrics on stage. And
True. I mean, maybe.
who can say for sure?
Andrew,
hard to say.
Andrew can't comment on
But
that.
to me, it's actually one of my favorite things about the band, honestly. Like every show, it's sort of like a roll of the dice. Like, are we gonna have one of those moments? Because we do a lot of harmonies and refrains in the
Right.
band.
Yeah. I was gonna
Like,
say you guys are like.
Right.
I mean, it's so complicated music.
Yeah. So Denny and I will be singing an echo to something that Andrew
Oh,
sings,
Right.
and we always have to be like on the edge of our seats, like is he
In
gonna
case
sing the
I
right
make
lyric?
up some new
I know
Or
that.
do we need to like change what we're gonna say based on what Andrew says? It's
Right.
fun.
I think one of the times on said song, he didn't sing the right second verse or third verse or whatever it was, and I think I sang something like, "He's not even singing the right words."
Please tell me if you forget, you make it up, or do you just sing like I'll end up singing the same verse twice, or
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
We
that
have
kind
same
of
verse
stuff.
twice.
One time I was playing Fork Fest in.
Oh yeah.
Where was that?
American Fork.
American Fork.
American Fork Fest.
I don't know if this counts as this type of story, but
Yes, please.
it was really hot. It was summer, and I chose to wear a suit.
Is this your other band?
Day Sounds,
Day
right?
Sounds.
It won't be shared. But
I
the
cannot.
the
can neither
story is
confirm or
that
deny.
the black keys on my keyboard were like so hot because of the sun that they were like sting my fingers when I was playing.
Are you
them.
serious?
So I was like
Is that
trying
hot?
to like play as staccato as possible. And I was like,
To be fair, I saw that set. And
You did.
I thought it was a great set.
oh, it was our last one.
Oh, that was the last one.
It was.
It was fun. It was a good set.
Outdoor, I mean, like we've already touched on anyways, like festivals and then outdoor festivals are just so tough.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I had another band that was heavier as well, and we were playing Warped Tour, and
Well,
it was one of those things where I like looked down and I had like bubbles all over my arms from sweat or whatever. When it's super light, you can't see your tuners or any of your
Yeah.
pedals
Oh my
because of the
gosh, the
light.
pedals are the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah. It just so
Yeah,
it's
tuning
just,
is like not gonna happen.
and then you're trying to set up your gear. You're 5 minutes into your set.
Yeah.
It's like God,
Yeah.
yeah. So I know where you guys are coming from.
Yeah. It's like every time they say that to us, the sound people, I just I'll rebuttal. Rob knows this about me.
Yes,
I'll
yes,
instantly
I love it.
rebuttal and be like, "Oh, we already talked to the venue manager and they said it was cool." I'll just say something like that.
Oh, can I
hope
borrow
none of them-
that?
Yeah, I hope none
Oh,
of them
that's
are listening.
amazing.
But I'll just be like, "Oh no, we talked to James and John and they said it was cool, totally cool."
just
You know,
make
or
names
something.
up.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith said it was okay.
Yeah.
It's the
the
most
ma-
common names that everyone has.
Yeah.
The mayor has given us a mayoral pardon to just start whenever we want.
No, we have the key to the city.
It's just like I think I just got so sick of like sound
Yeah.
folks. Bless your hearts. I love all
Right,
of you.
they're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job, but I just got so sick of like that generally happening so often at local
Right.
shows that I'm just like,
just to be
no, it's
expected.
cool. Everyone said it was cool. They said we could push it back.
No,
another
that's
10
the other
minutes.
room. That's
Yeah.
in the other room.
We talked to the other band. They said it was cool too if we like
Oh my gosh.
push back 10 minutes. And oftentimes I do talk to the people and be like, hey, it's cool.
Just
but they didn't talk
afterwards.
to it.
Also, everybody loves Denny, so nobody really cares if Denny
Yeah,
does that. So
They're like, I respect that.
Secret's out, but
I'm still in that. Yeah, that's
You should
amazing.
still.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
you just actually have to like network a little bit before the set though.
so you know whoever's
So you
name it
know
is.
like who runs the venue, who owns it, or whatever, and who does this, and who booked the show.
Mayor
Just,
of the
like
town.
start dropping all those things or whatever.
No. Dave said it's fine. So we kind of talked about you guys kind of working on new music. Are you allowed to talk a little bit about the new record that you're working on, or like any? Like, are you kind of doing it more where you're just like demoing out a bunch of ideas and then you'll kind of decide, or and like what can you kind of talk about? Ian seems very like.
Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Hit it,
take it
Ian.
away.
Oh man. We are currently writing. We're currently expecting. Yeah, some
9-month gestational
9
period.
Yeah. Some songs are more fleshed out than others. We've actually been playing some of these songs live.
Ooh, that's exciting.
So, and then we're also kind of in this fun moment too, where one of us will send an idea that we have, at 11 p.m. and someone will send another thing, to accompany that. Or Andrew will sent me a text the other day saying, "Hey, can you come up with a drum part for this?" Send
Oh, I
someone
love
back real
that,
quick,
yeah.
and so it's just kind of like this kind of hot potatoing these ideas around. So yeah, I'd say we're pretty much in the thick of it. We got some ones that are pretty much done, and other ones that are just not.
Are you guys just going to record it yourself again, or can you talk about that? Going to Abbey
yeah.
Road?
I don't know. I'd say most of the time, to save money as well, we'll probably use my facilities, and then each of them record at home a little bit. And if it sounds good from the home recording, we use it. And if not, we just re-record the part, kind of thing. Which ends up being good. You re-edit yourself, and you try and write the part a little bit better.
Tighten it
But-
Do you guys ever want to go to like a bigger studio or somewhere like other things?
If we
like
had
that?
the money, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be down. I mean,
that'd be
it's
cool.
it's fun. I like it because you kind of like are forced to like work as much as you can that day.
Yeah, you got to finish it in a week, or else
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Yeah, or whatever. So it'd be fun. I mean, if we had the budget or something like that to go to some spot outside of Utah, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
it seems like it's working for you, so don't fix what's not broken.
Sure.
You know? But
Yeah.
If it ain't Baroque,
Don't play it. But yeah, lots of stuff. I mean, Rob, you talk about how many freaking demos we have?
Oh man! So we have a SoundCloud account that we share.
yeah,
that's like a paid one, so you can have unlimited songs on there. And we've got, I don't know if it's hundreds, but it's definitely many more than 100 demos.
Hundreds, I think.
Hundreds.
Some of them are 20 seconds, some of them are 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that
some are
kind of-
20 seconds, some are like full songs or songs from previous bands. So it's mostly a process of elimination at this point. It's more like, okay, we have 60 songs that everyone thinks are pretty good. And it's like curating and picking the best ones. And then, of course, like any band, we're always in pursuit of like the next great song.
Yeah.
So even if we have enough, we're still writing, we're still kicking stuff around. And chasing the dream.
So you guys, I mean, you pretty much, do you have an idea of like the aesthetic, like what you're going to do album cover wise and everything already too?
We had a concept bubble up. I don't know if it will become
To fruition?
well, not sure if that will be what we'll end up choosing, but we've had a couple like
At least there's
ideas.
ideas.
For
Yeah,
what
you
it could
guys are
be.
getting close then. That's,
We're thinking like dinosaurs, but before the extinction. That's kind of the
Yeah.
the aesthetic.
that's pretty cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
we call it The Land Before Time.
Oh my
Next
gosh.
record. Yeah.
You might get sued again.
The Mellons before time.
The Mellons Land Before Time.
Oh,
We land.
this isn't probably going to be the next one, but just to give. Oh, I didn't mean that one.
I actually really like that idea.
That is. Somebody write that down. But
Dinos.
one that I think would be fun in the future, I guess maybe just to say, because I don't think it'll be this next album. It's just an example, though. Was I think it'd be fun to do an album called "The Mellons Go to Space," and it's kind of like '60s, like low budget TV, like a lot of like theremin and like kind of like.
Dude, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of
Yeah.
campy.
What's that? Yeah,
That'd be
what's
so
that
sick.
60s show? The family in
Yeah,
outer
yeah,
space.
Lost in
Oh
Space.
yeah, Lost in
and-
Space.
Twilight Zone.
No, I'm thinking of the cartoon one.
Jetsons?
Oh,
Oh,
Jetsons.
Jetsons.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
good.
like that
Yeah.
kind of vibe. I think
Yeah.
would be fun for an album.
Yeah,
but-
that'd be so cool. Oh man, yeah, that'd be way cool. So I mean, I guess kind of going back to this album, was every song that's on the record pretty much the same kind of way where you're like, okay, we got 10 songs or whatever, it's done, or was it like this where you have 100 songs and you narrowed it down?
The former. Yeah. Had a bunch of songs already, but again, continually writing. Like Strawberry Girl was written during the production of the album. That was a brand new concept. Denny and Andrew mostly worked on that one.
Yeah, What a Time was in the middle of writing
Yeah.
the album, right?
What a Time was in the middle. Andrew came up with the original groove, and then we all jumped in and finished that song. The second half of Surprise, that was actually one of my favorite writing experiences. So I had the first half of Surprise written and demoed out from before the Mellons formed. But like all of my demos, it was like 90 seconds long. And I didn't know where to go from there. So we brought it to the group, and it was really late one night. We were at Denny's studio, number 9 Studios.
One thing led to another.
One thing led to another.
Andrew's in the corner with a banjo.
He had his underwear on only.
Now we're expecting an album.
9-month gestational period.
Pull back the curtain, see what's inside there.
Ah, nice.
Surprise joke.
That was good.
So I felt really honored. I got to sit and I felt like I was just pretty much watching Denny and Andrew write the whole second half, but incorporating aspects of the first half. And it was like, for me, I hope this doesn't make you guys feel too good about yourselves. I felt like I was watching art, you know?
Yeah.
It was neat because it was based off something I had done, so I felt some involvement. But I was also totally hands off. I was like, I just want to see what happens. Like,
It
what
was-
happens
yeah.
if I say nothing? And I just watched, and it was so cool. And then Ian came in and finished the groove with the beat. For me, that was so gratifying to watch a song like finish itself in the hands of bandmates.
That song's so fun to listen to because like you're like kind of going on your original idea and you're going like, okay, I think I know what the song's gonna go
Yeah.
towards, and you're going, and then all of a sudden, surprise, that bridge
He
comes
gets
in,
it.
and it just. Did you write the lyrics for that as well, the bridge part, or did you do that, Rob?
I can't remember.
I wrote
the
the
bridge.
lyrics for the first half of the song, and the second half was all Andrew, right?
That's so
think
cool.
so.
Yeah, you guys ended up like finishing each other's songs.
Sentences.
Sandwiches. Yeah.
I think we all always love those kind of songs that like start as one song and then kind of become a
Morph
different
into
song.
another.
I
Yeah.
think that's a fun, just like what's the word? I don't know, a technique, I guess.
Yeah. Where did, for instance, Magic Spell come from?
I think I wrote that one quite a while ago.
That one was one that, not to pop in, but that from all the demos that we had been circling around, just like, I'm not trying to take any sort of credit because it's his song
ahead.
originally,
Right.
but I was like, this song, this is...
Oh,
this
Magic
is
Spell,
something-
kind of catchy.
Yeah, it
Is
was
that
like-
you at the end?
Oh, that is me.
Yeah, hey,
It's
Magic
got the
Spell, kind
magic
of
spell.
kind of catchy.
Yeah. No, I just kept hearing that one. Like, I love the demos, like different ones stick out for different people, but that one was like, just like, just spoke something to me, and I was like, we got to get this on the record, kind of thing.
Yeah, that one's
And
sweet.
Thanks.
like we had tried recording drums during the Hello Sun session. So for Hello Sun, that was the only song we recorded outside of my studios, other than some home recording
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that.
Right.
We did it at Sunspell Records up by the U in Salt Lake at Joey Peterson's place. And we had tried to cut some drums for that one that day as well, just in like off time. And it just wasn't working out or whatever, you know, like we just needed more time to like refine the parts and stuff. And we hadn't figured out the structure or anything like that. And maybe it wasn't even like on the serious docket for the record, but we kept working on it kind of thing and refining it. And like, I think maybe I had chopped up your demo a ton to make us a decent structure. It sounded like doo-doo because it was just chopped up and crossfaded from a demo. And
Still speaking
right,
of Hello Sun, right?
no, sorry. So Magic Spell.
Magic Spell.
So Magic Spell.
But you were
was, like,
there for Hello Sun.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
there for Hello Sun, and then we had tried to do drums for Magic Spell, and we weren't in love with them. It was just like kind of thing. Ian did a great performance,
really
but
let
it
us
was
down.
like,
I don't even remember it.
it's okay. I have the file still, but yeah, and then it just kept refining, and then Rob. So actually, something that I think Rob and Andrew wanted that I've heard in other interviews that we've done was they wanted to do a song where they kind of one person sings a section, then the next person sings.
Oh, yeah.
So like
Yeah,
a John,
love that. Yeah.
John and Paul kind of thing or whatever. And so then Andrew sings the chorus or whatever you want to call that section. That I've got a magic spell. And Rob comes in with these like really delicate Wilson-esque lyrics and melodies kind of thing.
Can I jump in for a second?
That we didn't have for a while. But yeah, jump in. It was fun.
Well, I just want to say about that specific part that
Yeah.
you're talking about. So we were writing that song in a different band, and I remember that a previous band member. So it has like a section that I wrote basically, and a section that Rob wrote basically.
Mhm.
And then my previous band member like didn't like the part that Rob added because it was on after they already had heard my part or whatever. Because I sent it to Rob, you know,
Boo
and
that
they didn't
person.
like it, and I was like,
Bless his
no,
heart.
dude, it's
What are you talking about?
it's so good. So
I don't remember who I heard say this recently, but they were saying like maybe it was Jack White talking about like Seven Nation Army because someone told him at first like, no, this isn't a good song or something, and it almost like reinforces you like, no, this is good,
Yeah.
like you don't know, man, I'm gonna prove to you this is good.
As an artist, you kind of have to convince, like not convince, you know it yourself, but you're waiting for everyone else to realize sometimes. That sounds really cocky, but like Jack White
Yeah.
said or whatever, it's like he knew that it was a good idea and that hook, like the chorus is the instrumental hook, right?
Right.
I
I don't know that I could
But-
say I knew anything. I just really liked Rob's part,
But
so I
maybe
wanted to keep
seeing
it.
what you guys had already written though too, as like the outsider, coming back full
Yeah,
circle
exactly.
earlier, I was just like, no. I was like, I'm going to be the one that's like rearing you guys or something,
Yeah.
but like, and then Rob like sends his takes on the verse or whatever, and I was like we usually like we're all pretty particular people and we'll have feedback for each other, but I was like, I don't know,
Oh, I love
like
that.
it's like the verses the lyrics, like the way that he sings the melody, the triple
it's
track.
great.
It's triple track too, I think, on the vocals as well.
Yeah, it's triple
beautiful.
It's triple tracked. You just reminded me of something, which was one of the last songs we finished on the album, and I try to be super organized. I've got spreadsheets and to-do lists and like the NAT chart things or
He's the
Gantt
checklist
charts
guy.
to make
Yeah.
sure we do everything in sequence. And somehow like we didn't have lyrics for the second verse of Magic Spell.
Oh yeah.
And I think Denny and Andrew were mixing it that night. I was like, crap. I was like, babe, you take the kids. I'll be back in 4 hours. And
Yeah.
I went to my home studio. I was like, okay, lyrics. So I had to re-record all my lyrics and write all the second verse lyrics that night. And I
Whoa.
sent them over and I was like, I hope these are okay. Because like, that was it.
And then you added the ad lib stuff on the last choruses too, which was really cool. Sorry, we're getting super
No,
deep
no,
into
we love
into
it, yeah.
juju right now or whatever, but it was fun and it was also stressful. the last few
Yeah.
songs of the record were really rushed, but I think it ended up okay. Like Surprise was really rushed, some of it. Marmalade was super rushed. It was the very last thing that we had done. I had written really focused on helping you guys with like a lot of the Andrew Robb stuff and whatnot. And then they were like, but then to their credit, they were like, we really want Marmalade on the record kind of thing.
Yeah.
So which is awesome. Thank you.
That's a Denny
and stuff.
song. That's
Yeah.
Denny.
So it literally ended up might be the last thing recorded. Like the last drums for sure. Maybe the last horn session, the last guitar session with you and just like everything and till 5 a.m., whatever it was and stuff. It was just right before Thanksgiving.
I think it's good. I
2021.
think it's good that I mean, I guess quoting
deadline's
Jack
good.
White a million times today, but he said the same thing where he's like, if I don't have that time restraint, I'm not going to get it done, because you can just keep refining it and doing whatever. But since you had that, maybe the record wouldn't have been as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we did that on purpose.
Yeah. So when like
There's a story behind the deadline too. We'll save that maybe for another
so
time.
when you finally got the record finished and you have it all together and you're like listening to it, was there a moment of like, yeah, this is awesome, this is special?
I mean, not to toot our own horns. I'll toot our collective horn as a band.
Don't touch my horn.
This analogy just gets weirder every time I use it.
I agree. It's like a group horn toot at this point.
Well, throughout the podcast, we'll edit in like ding and then do like a count.
Yeah, I'll have a toot counter.
I'll send you the sound effects for Magic Spell.
Please do.
The stems.
So for me, I hope this isn't cheesy, but it's every time I listen to it. Every time I listen to the album, I still get that feeling of like, wow. And I think I'm allowed to feel that way because we did it as a group. You know what I mean? So it's not. Totally,
Yeah, it's not like your own solo project.
yeah, it's not
thing
like,
or
wow,
something.
I'm so good. Every time I listen to me, I'm amazed. No, just like it's just so fun to listen to the details, especially when someone else wrote something. It's like, oh man, I never fully focused on that harmony or that harmony.
Yeah,
or
until
that
it's
drum beat.
fully done. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's still every time I listen to the album, it's that feeling of like, whoa, we did it.
Yeah, some of it feels like it almost always was. You know, like some of your verses or some of Andrew's chorus parts or whatever it was. It's just like, I don't know. You kind of forget a lot of the minutiae. Is that the right word?
Sure.
A lot of the minutiae and semantics of things. The further away we get from the record, so it's fun to talk about them and be like, oh my gosh, I forgot about like these little anecdotes and some of the things, which is good. Thank you for documenting this as well.
course, yeah.
And Andrew actually is starting this new series with us where we're going to go track by track. And try and remember as much as we can. Of
that'd be
each
amazing.
song.
Yeah.
So,
I think for me, the moment was when I showed it to my mom and she said, "It sounds like electronic music."
Yeah.
Very touching.
Yeah. You're gonna make me cry, man.
I don't want to toot your horn, but
Could you play a little something for us?
oh man, yeah,
Hit it, dude.
I was gonna slip it in.
Yeah.
There it is.
Whoa, woo, you better copyright that one.
That will be on the next album.
Vern claps off screen.
Fern toots his own horn off screen.
Brent says, what about me off screen?
We love Vern.
Oh, that was awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, like I said, when I found you guys, I was like, each track as I'm listening to it, like, I love this band. This band's awesome. Holy shit, this band's amazing.
Oh,
And then when I found out you guys are from Utah, I was like, there's no way.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Cool.
And then, like I said, you dig more in, you find out they're like,
Yeah.
oh, the Boys Ranch and everything else.
We both had different haircuts too, so.
Very confusing. How did you find it?
He was Googling
No,
names that.
sorry.
Are there only rich American families with bands named after
He's good. His name's Miles. He's an illustration.
Oh, Miles, Mickey.
Yes, so he's done a music video for me.
Yeah.
And he shared your guys' stuff on the story, and I was like, who are these guys?
Huh.
And I guess I didn't realize, because he's been doing work for other bigger artists and stuff, so I just assumed you guys were somebody from New York or something. I didn't realize.
cool.
Yeah. And then Capitol
That's a
Hill,
bigger
I was like,
compliment than anything.
But
Right.
Marmalade.
yeah, and then
Capitol.
and the introduction you guys say from Salt Lake City as well, but
Land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
Off screen.
Right.
but yeah, thank you guys so much for coming
Thanks
on.
for
It was an
having us.
absolute
Thank you.
pleasure.
Honored.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Harmonizing with Andrew Flute Solo.
Thanks for listening to You Guys Shred.